JJ the CPA here. Hope you're doing well. It is 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on April 3rd. The reason to say that is that everything is changing so quickly as it relates to this PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. So the banks were thrown a total curveball. There was a third version released. Let's just be clear. This PPP came into existence in essence Monday, 5 days ago, even though it was passed in law on Friday at 4 p.m. That's not really fair to say it started then. So in this short span of 5 days, the SBA has changed the application for a third time. So if you had filled out an application before today, or you have an application before today, it is now obsolete. So on my website, I have the updated version. If you just go to it and look for the PPP, the picture will be the old application for those that are paying attention, but the link to the PDF will be to the latest PPP application. Of course, you can get it from your bank. I'm just providing it as a resource. And then also, I have a video that I'll do a link to, which was I created a worksheet. I based it off one of the banks, but then kind of just made it my own. But I created a worksheet for my clients on determining the, of course, average monthly payroll cost to then determine the max loan amount. So I did put that up on my website as a PDF. And that's at jjthecpahelp.com. Please note that you don't give me any information to get this information or to get these forms. But by popular demand, it has been requested, could I put up the Excel version of this worksheet? So the short answer is yes. The one thing to note is that I took out all the formulas for those that might not be that experienced with Excel. I didn't want anybody to rely on a formula that they could have maybe changed or adjusted, or if they added a column or a row. So if you're familiar with Excel, it's not a locked or protected version. You will be able to go in there and put in your own formulas, or you can just do good old-fashioned, put in the numbers and add them up. Point is, I'm going to give you the Excel version. It'll be jjthecpahelp.com, and it'll be the page called PPP, where you'll also find this the latest application, and there'll be an icon for the PDF, and then there'll be an icon for the Excel version. So from the standpoint of the other update, I have not heard officially that banks will not be able to submit loans today. I've heard the terminology thrown around, fund loans. To me would mean I'm walking out as a customer with my money. Fund a loan to a bank means they got the money, or the authorization for the money, or the okay to give out their own money because the money's on its way. So that's different. Okay, there's going to be a delay here from the money getting to the bank, or the bank releasing funds and then getting it to you. So I had the impression from those that put this together, right, the architects as in Congress and those in government, that the mindset was to be a 48-hour turnaround. That seems pretty tight turnaround. If you are with a bank that somehow found a way to submit their information today, or if you're at a bank that didn't, don't cut the line and then go to another bank. Everybody is in the same position. A bank might have been able to find a way to pop a few up there, but rest assured, it seems as though by Monday, banks will be able to get the information up. So I've got a video where I talk about why I think banks are asking for additional information that you should check out. I am doing a daily update. I'll probably do one this evening. So the point of this update is we've got a third version of the PPP application. I don't see how the banks will have time, given that the third applications have to be completed, and that means that customers have to complete them, that they'd be able to actually fund, using the bank's terminology, or that you would be able to have that submitted. And then I do think you should just set yourself up for some patience for next week. So whether you got it submitted today, well, it's Friday and there's only a couple hours left in the business day, and or if you have, bank's going to get it submitted Monday or Tuesday, it's just going to take a little bit of time. So I've got a video on what you should pull together that still does seem to be fairly consistent in terms of the tax forms that you need and the insurance forms. What I've been doing for clients is I'm just putting everything in there. It's just like when I was growing up, ragu, you get a bottle of this spaghetti sauce ragu, and they'd be like, well, does it have this? And be like, it's in there. Does it have this? Well, it's in there. So what I'm getting together is, even though I'm calculating on the last 12 months, because I think that's what the law states, the version that came out this morning indicated that you can use 2019. So it does make it easier on everybody, because you can then just use, W-2s and W-3s. But I already went the extra step with Alliant Payroll here in Oklahoma City, and all of my clients already have the figures from them, and then we're doing the worksheet to come up with what we believe the monthly average would be to then determine the maximum loan. But what we're getting from the payroll company is the detail by employee for each month. We're getting the detail by employee for each quarter. We're getting the Form 941s for all of 2019 and first quarter 2020, even though we're basing it off the last 12 months. I'm putting a letter in there just to indicate to the bank that I am this client's CPA and they've been in business for more than 2 years, as there is a requirement that the business had been in business. And even if a bank knows that, for whatever reason, they like third-party documentation related to that. On the insurance premiums, some banks are asking for the copies and some aren't. Get them the copies if you can right now of your premiums and invoices as it relates to sorry, I got this little pop-up message through my concentration off. Health insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance. Okay. So get receipts for that. Why not? I mean, to be honest with you, what are you doing right now? Okay. If you're needing this money, you're not as busy. Okay. You're at home. Just do it, because here's the thing. I've already had clients that have said, I'm so glad that you gave me all of that, because the bank didn't need it, but then they came back and said they needed it, and then I already had it. So why not be prepared, right? So just maintain yourself first in line by just giving what, in essence, other bankers are requesting, that then maybe another bank would decide that you're working with, hey, I want that documentation. Same thing, some kind of a statement related to your match. So we're putting it all in there, and we've got banks that are asking for 2019 financials. Absolutely and wholeheartedly disagree with that, but whatever, we're putting it in there. They want a copy of the 18 tax return. Why? These loans are guaranteed. It's literally a zero risk according to the law. There is no approval process, meaning in terms of credit, because it indicates that they have to determine nothing about the credit. There's no collateral required. There's nothing that indicates that there's any kind of guarantee. If the person who got the money doesn't pay it back, then the bank pays it. So watch my video on, I think, why banks are asking for that, and it might just be an indicator, quite frankly, of why you might just move on to the next bank. And then if you're looking at the new loan the new PPP application, so I've already been texted at least 10 times from clients because there's now a question, how are you taxed? Okay, so how you would know that if you're not getting an answer from your preparer, or you just want to get the answer quick, is on your business return. So go to your business return, and up at the top, it's going to say Form 1065. It's a Form 1065. It's a partnership, and guess what? At the top, it says partnership. If you go to your business return, and at the top it says 1120S, it'll say S Corp. So you're an S Corp. Okay. And then if you're a C Corp, you're going to look at that tax form and it's just going to say 1120. That's a C Corp, okay? And then if you're nonprofit, if you're a tribal business, sole proprietor. So sole proprietor would be you don't have a separate tax return, period. If you have a separate tax return, you are not a sole proprietor as it's defined by the IRS. Sole proprietor would be you do not have a separate entity. Therefore, you would be self-employed. If you're filing a Schedule C on your personal return, you are self-employed, sole proprietor, in essence, independent contractor. All right, hey, I'm going to be doing another full-length video on this, but I got to get back to doing the last handful of calculations for some of our clients, or reviewing the calculations. But there's a sentiment out here that banks are interpreting payroll costs that an employer can borrow based on to include who they pay as independent contractors, and up to $100,000. I wholeheartedly do not believe that is how it was intended. And if you want to go with a technicality, then, and if your bank's going to let you do it, I still don't think you should do it. Period. The end. And shame on the banks. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you for including it. And here's why. Because you are going to absolutely suck money out of this that is meant for those that are trying to keep their employees employed. And here's why. And here's why it's not even an opinion that they should be ashamed if they're going to include 1099s. Okay, this isn't a game. Okay, it's not getting extra water bottles when there's a bunch of people behind you that are thirsty, okay, and haven't drank in days themselves. Okay, it's not a way that you get to backdoor more money so you can get a higher fee. Okay, and if you're offended as a bank, you should be if you are including the 1099s. Okay, show me where it says that. And you know what you're relying on? One word. When it defines payroll cost, the bill should have said, the law should have said, here's all the wages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or, should say or, okay? And then the definition of self-employed. Absolutely no way the intent of Congress in any life version, universe, was that meant to include an employer who has employees to then also include what it is that they pay independent contractors. And here's why. They're an independent contractor. And guess what? And this is why I'm going to have a full-length video on this. The independent contractor, the sole proprietor, the one that's getting the 1099, they get to go get their own loan. Let's just think about this for a second. Like, literally think about, this is money that's being given to employers to pay the employees. It's not about expanding their business. It's not about adding employees. It's not about just having some money at a low interest rate. It is to get money to employees, okay? It's a paycheck protection program. It's not a paycheck independent contractor protection program. So think this through. I want you to think this through with me. Because if you're considering doing it, you should not do it. And here's why. If you're getting money, okay, to pay your employees, and then you go, oh, well, I've got this independent contractor, person that cleans and mows the lawn, and someone that comes in and does some consulting, someone that does my IT work. Now, not at all am I saying those people don't deserve the dollars. But your landscaper, the cleaning person, the IT person, the consultant, they can go get their own PPP loan. They can also go get that COVID-19 EIDL, which is $10K. So let's think about this, because I don't even want to hear this crap about like, well, but the employer needs the money to, pay their independent contractors. Why do they need that money when the independent contractor can go get their own free money, right? I'm getting money to pay somebody that can go and get money. That's not how it's designed here. Shame on you, banks. Okay? Shame on you. Now, here's what I've just told clients. You know what? You're just going to have to go whatever your bank says. I'm not